3 Math Revision for 10 Advanced. We will be solving together the previous final exam of year 2019-2020. Of course, some of these questions are cancelled because already your last chapter was cancelled this year. So I omitted the questions that is not related to the exam. So let's see the first question. Let's have Al-Hanouf. Al-Hanouf, read the question.
The temporal side of an angle is standard position. The unit cancel the point. -6/10, 8/10. Find the cos.
Cosine of theta. So he is giving you that you are having a terminal side of an angle that is intersecting with the unit circle. So let's have a look. First of all, I have graphed for you a simple unit circle to remind you about the unit circle itself. So from its name, a unit circle is having a radius of 1, and the horizontal distance will be the value of x and the vertical distance will be the value of y. So each point will be having x and y. X represent the horizontal distance, y represent the vertical distance. And since you are having theta here, so you will be connecting these together and finding the sine and the cosine of them, which will lead you directly to a relationship that whenever you are having a point x and y, the x coordinate will be cosine theta and the y coordinate will be sine theta. And if I ask you to find tan theta, then it will be sine theta over cosine theta, and these we can remember it from the quotient identities. So let's have a look here in this question. What is cosine theta? You are given a point. What is cosine theta?
-6/10.
Excellent. So directly it is -6/10. What is sine theta?
8/10.
So this is the answer of sine theta, and these answers are wrong. Okay, so let's have a look at the other question. Aisha, read the question.
Find sine theta if cosine theta is equal 1.5 and 270 bigger than theta.
Do we read it like this? Start always from the variable.
Theta is bigger than 270 and theta is bigger than 360.
Who agrees with Aisha? Is it the right way to read it?
A 360 bigger than theta.
Always start from the variable, Aisha.
Theta is smaller than 270 and bigger than 270 and smaller than 360.
Excellent, excellent. So this is the right way to read it. Theta is bigger than 270 and less than 360. That means it is between these two values. So let's have a look. How can I solve this question? So can anyone suggest for me what will be the identities that I will be starting with? Whenever I need to find the sine and I'm given the cosine, what will be the identity that I need to use?
Sine to the power 2 plus cosine
Yes, continue.
square equal 1.
Excellent, which is this identity, the Pythagorean identity, which is the first one. Sine square theta plus cosine square theta is equal to 1. Always, whenever you are given sine, you need the cosine, or vice versa, you need to use this rule. Now, let's substitute with the given. Do I have sine?
No.
Keep it as it is. Sine square theta. Do I have cosine?
Yes.
Yes.
What I should do with that?
Minus both sides.
Shall I subtract it? First of all, let's substitute, then you can move it to the other side. What you will be having here, what is your cosine?
1/2.
And what you need to do with it? Square it. Equal to 1. Then move it to the other side. Minus 1/2 all squared minus 1/2 all squared. That means your sine squared theta is equal 1 minus 1/2 all squared. Find it.
It's 3/4.
3/4. But this is the squared value. What shall I do?
Square root of 3 plus and minus.
So what you need to do mainly, Aisha?
Square root.
Take the square root of both sides. So when you take the square root of both sides, what this will be giving you? Sine theta equal to what?
Minus square root of 3/2.
Is it only minus?
Plus and minus.
Remember, ladies, how many times did I say whenever you are taking the square root of a squared value both sides, you need to put plus and minus, since this will be yielding you to an absolute value. So remember this from previous courses. So plus and minus square root of 3/2. طيب, let me ask you a question. How can I know is it positive or negative?
We will use all students take chocolate from
Excellent.
the
So,
range.
excellent. So, let's put the sentence. All students mean S, takes means T, chocolate means C. So, what we are given, which quadrant?
Fourth.
The fourth.
Fourth. So, 270 degree, 360 degree. That means we are given the fourth quadrant. Whether we write it like this, or you can just write it in the Greek way. So let's have a look now. What will happen for the sign in the fourth quadrant?
Minus.
Negative.
Minus, excellent, or negative. So sine theta negative square root of 3/2. So everything is given for you for a reason. He gave you this for a reason, so don't ignore it. Okay, ladies? Now, let's have a look to the other question. Determine the period of the function. And you are having a graph. So how can I do this? What is the period of this function? Let's see. What do you think?
6.
طيب, if we are taking 6. Let's move like you are saying. طيب, the students who are telling me 6, you need to explain, and the students who are telling me 8, you need to explain. From which point you have started?
0.
From 0. Here? From this point? You started like this?
No.
No. Which point exactly? Assume it. 0 and the value of y? So did you start from this point?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move with you. And always imagine how was the shape once you make this drawing. So let's draw it together. I will be moving, I will be moving, I will be moving. Still the shape is repeated. طيب, let's look at the other shape. I'm still having this one is repeated, so include it. That means let's go down. It is my 8. Now, that means after the 8, my graph will be starting to repeat. So I will be making it with other colors so you can see. So again, I will be making the same drawing, and now my graph started to repeat as it is. That means my period will be 8. So pay attention, you need to look when your graph will start to repeat. Let's go to the other question. Find the amplitude of the function y equal 4 sine 5x. How can I find the amplitude whenever I'm having a function in the form of a sine b of x or b of theta? What is the amplitude?
absolute.
Yes. Continue. Absolute value of
A, and it is
excellent. Excellent. Don't be confused, Aisha. Excellent. So, absolute value of 4, which is 4. So, what if I told you find the period?
2 pi over absolute value of B.
Excellent. 2 pi over absolute value of B, or 360 degree over absolute value of B. Mostly the 2 pi will be used whenever you are given a pi in the question or whenever you are given frequency problems. Okay, ladies? So let's have a look. 360 degree over B. What is your B?
5.
5. Absolute value. Now divide.
72.
72. So he is trying to confuse you, ladies. He is giving you the period here. So pay attention. And here, this is the value of B. Here, it is the value of the period. Here, it is nonsense. Like he is just giving you the 90 just to confuse you. Okay, ladies? Now let's go to the other question. Find the phase shift of the function y equal. Let's write the general form of the tan. A tan B theta minus theta prime plus k. So let's pay attention. First of all, I have told you a really important note about the tan and their reciprocals. Do I have an amplitude for the tan?
Undefined.
Can I say that it is A? Excellent, Aisha. It is undefined. So keep it as a note for you. Tan theta. And all the reciprocals, cotan theta, sec theta, cosec theta, all of them are having undefined amplitude. Okay, ladies, so there is no amplitude for this. He is asking you for the phase shift. So whenever he's asking you about the phase shift, look at the brackets. If you are having a negative in the formula, that means your theta prime, which is h, which is the phase shift,
Positive.
in positive. Excellent, Aisha. So 90 degree, is it to the right or to the left?
Right.
Right. Excellent. So always pay attention to this. طيب, what is your B value here? Yalla, look at the equation and tell me. We solved the question. The phase shift is 90 to the right. But I'm asking you other questions.
The B is 1.
Excellent. The B is 1. So, can I ask you to find the period? What is the period of the tan?
180.
Excellent. Over what?
Absolute value of P.
Excellent. Which is 1. So, the period is 180. Do I have any vertical shift here?
No.
No vertical shift. So I have analyzed everything with you. No vertical shift. Okay, ladies? So pay attention please to this. If in the formula you are having negative, that means your phase shift is positive. If it is positive, then it is the opposite, the negative. Now, let's go to the other question. Find the value of arc sine minus square root of 2 over 2. Now let me ask you, what do I mean by arc sine?
Inverse sine.
Excellent. So it is sine inverse of minus square root of 2 over 2. Find it. Use your calculator and find it.
Minus 45.
Minus 45 degree. What if your answer was not in the degree? How can you change from degree to radian?
Minus 45 multiplied by pi over 180.
Excellent. Get it in radian.
Pi over 4.
With the minus, don't forget it. Okay, ladies. Now let's move to the other question. Simplify the expression cotan theta sec theta. Now, let me ask you, cotan theta, how can I simplify it? Yalla, let's analyze it here. How can I simplify the cot?
Cosine over sine.
Excellent. Cosine theta over sine theta. And sec theta is reciprocal of which function?
1 over cosine.
Excellent. So the reciprocal of cosine theta. So let's put it here together. Cosine theta over sine theta multiplied by 1 over cosine theta. How can I simplify this?
Remove the cosine.
Remove the cosine, up and down. What it will be? 1 over sine theta. What it will be later? What is the reciprocal of the sine?
Cosecant.
Excellent. Cosec of theta. That means your answer is this one. Done. Now, let's go to the other question. Which expression can be used to form an identity with sine theta, cosine theta, tan theta, all multiplied together minus 1? So it is another way of saying simplify this identity. So sine, do I have anything to simplify it? Keep it as it is, sine theta. Cosine, keep it as it is. What about the tan?
Sine over cosine.
Excellent, sine theta over cosine theta. And this is the quotient identities. Minus 1. Remember, you can't subtract until you simplify this. Now, simplify. Shall I cancel something?
The cosine.
Done. I cancelled this. Then, I'm having sine theta multiplied by sine theta.
Sine square.
Excellent. So it will be sine square theta minus 1. Now, let's go to our identities. Which identity I can use? Whenever you are having number 1, always look to the Pythagorean identities. And the identity that will be helping me is cosine square theta plus sine square theta is equal to 1. So I'm having here my sine square minus 1. That means I need to play with this until I reach to minus 1. That means he would like me to move the 1 inside and the cosine square to the outside, which will make it sine square theta minus 1 equal to minus cosine square theta. Pay attention, it's moving against each other, which will be giving you minus cosine square theta. This is really important. And the answer is D. Now, let's move to the other question. Find the exact value of sine 105. So, I think we did this exactly together in the class, and we formed so many sum and difference identities. So can you think together, what are the two angles? If I added them or subtracted them from each other, will be giving you 105.
120 plus 30.
120 plus 30. Is it going to give you 105?
Oh, no.
Start from the simplest identities, simplest special angles. What about 45? If you used 45. What will be the other angle that will be giving you 105? Ladies, have your calculator and check before giving me the answer. So 45 plus 60. We did it exactly in the class. Please revise the notes. So let's have a look together. What is the rule of the sign of the sum and difference? Again, we have identified previously that the sign will be keeping the sign as it is. If it is positive, it will be keeping the positive. So for the sign, it will be considering the first as A, the second as B. It will be taking sine the first angle, cosine the second angle. Now cosine the first angle, sine the second angle. And now hold your calculators and get me what is sine 45.
Square root of 2 over 2.
What is cosine 60?
One over 2.
What is cosine 45?
Square root of 2 over 2.
What is sine 60?
Square root of 3 over 2.
Great. Now let's together use this and let's simplify it. So it will be square root of 2 over 4 plus square root of 6 over 4. Same denominator, you just need to add square root of 2 plus square root of 6. So which answer is this? The last answer, square root of 2 plus square root of 6 over 4. Now let's go to the other question. So in this question you need to pay attention. He is giving you the question in radians. Find the exact value of the expression tan pi over 8. So I'm giving you two ways. The first way is the longest way. The second way will be the calculator way. So the first way, pay attention. What if you don't know what is pi over 8? Can't you convert it to radians so you can understand what is pi over 8? Convert it to degrees. What you will be using? How you will multiply it? With what? From radian to degree.
180 over pi.
Excellent. Find it now.
$45 over 2.
Great. And I like that you gave me the details. It is 45 over 2, which is 22.5. That means it is pi over 4 over 2. Okay, ladies, pay attention to this. If I want to make it in radians, so it will be having a form of whatever in the numerator, pi over 4 from the special angles over 2. Now this will be helping us to divide our theta. That means it is easier for us to use the half angle identity. So let's revise together. What is the half angle identity for tan? So tan theta over 2 is equal plus and minus square root of 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. And let's have a look what will be now our theta. So let's substitute. So as we have said, it will be 45 over 2, which is pi over 4. This will be our new theta. That means tan pi over 4 all over 2. That means this is your new theta. And let's have a look. Positive and negative. 1 minus cosine the new theta, which is pi over 4. 1 plus cosine pi over 4. And you need to pay attention to one thing. your theta is pi over 4. It is in the first quadrant. That means all are positive. So no need to put the minus. So now let's have a look. Tan pi over 4 all over 2 is equal. Now a positive value of 1 minus. Now find for me cosine pi over 4 or cosine 45. And 1 plus
Square root.
cosine 45. Yes,
Square root of 2 over 2.
great. Now, if you rushed and you put it in the calculator, it will not be giving you the exact value. I want the exact value. So you need to follow step by step whatever I'm doing in order to get the exact value. Let's have a look. Solve the numerator alone. Yalla, put it in your calculator. 1 minus square root of 2 over 2.
2 plus square root of 2 over 2.
1 minus the numerator, not the denominator. Pay attention. You will be changing the solution if you made it like this.
2 minus square root of 2 over 2.
Good. All over 2. Now, the other one, 2 plus square root of 2 over 2. Now, ladies, pay attention. If I would like to simplify this, then I'm having 2 here and 2 there. What I can do with the 2? Cancel out. So I will be deleting it. So that means your new expression will be 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 plus square root of 2. And if you remember, we talked previously in grade 9 that I don't like to have in my denominator a radical. So let's write again here the continuation of my answer. So tan pi over 4 all over 2, which is equivalent to tan pi over 8, will be 2 minus square root of 2 over 2 plus square root of 2. And under the square root, I need to multiply by an expression that we took it previously in grade 9, which is the conjugate. In Arabic, it's al-murafaq, the conjugate. So the conjugate is that it is the same expression as the denominator, but by changing the sign of the radical. 2 minus square root of 2, 2 minus square root of 2. Which will be leading me to another expression that I can simplify. So here I'm having a repeated expression. So I can put it as one expression all squared. Here I'm having the expression of a minus b and a plus b, if you remember. So it is difference between two squares. So I can square the first minus square the second. Now, let's remember another math skill. Whenever you are having a square root of a over b, you can distribute the square up and down, which will make it as the following. 2 minus square root of 2 all squared all over another square root And now I need you to calculate 2 square minus square root of 2 squared. What it will be? Here it will be 4 minus, what is the square of the square root of 2?
2, because the square root will cancel out the root.
Excellent. So now I want you to find the denominator for me.
2.
Inside the square root, don't forget. طيب, you just said a sentence that I like. You told me that the square root will be cancelling the square and vice versa. That means here both will be cancelled with each other and I will be left with one expression, 2 minus square root of 2. And now, instead of using another conjugate, this is simple if you want to use your calculator. So, can you use your calculator to get me this? 2 minus square root of 2 over 2?
Minus 1 plus square root of 2.
Minus 1 square root plus square root of 2, which is square root of 2 minus 1. If you want to write it like this. طبعا here I can multiply also by the conjugate up and down. Square root of 2 by the radical I mean. So another method to do this is the calculator. Okay, so here is my answer. طيب, what is the other method? If you used your calculator on radian, tan pi over 8, what you will be getting? In your calculator on radian. Calculator. This is way
an exact value.
Excellent. What you will be getting, Aisha?
0.414 points.
Okay, so you will not be getting a exact value, so it will not be helping you directly. But what you can do, I know it will take time, but this is another way. So this was way 1. This will be way 2, that you can start finding the value of each of them using the calculator. You can find what is the rounded value of this. You can find what is the rounded value of this. You can find what is the rounded value of this and what is the rounded value of this. You will find that this is 0.414. This could be one of the methods. Okay, ladies? Now, let's move to the last 2 questions. Find all the solutions of sine 2 theta is equal to cosine theta. In the class, we did a question like it, but it was sine 2 theta plus cosine theta. Now, it will be different. So, whenever you are having a question like this, know that you need to put the cosine inside. So, sine 2 theta minus cosine theta will be equal to 0. And let's have a look. I'm having sine 2 theta double angle identity, 2 sine theta cosine theta. So let's substitute 2 sine theta cosine theta minus cosine theta is equal to 0. Now, do I have a common factor that I can take it outside? Look at both terms. Do I have? Excellent. Cosine theta. And the common factor is considered like a value that you will be dividing both sides by it. So what will be remaining in the first part?
2 sine theta.
What about the other side?
Minus 1.
Excellent. Is equal to 0. Now, I'm having a property which is the zero product property. Either cosine theta is equal to 0 or 2 sine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. So let's start solving first of all the cosine theta, and let's pay attention. Again, as I have told you previously, whenever you are having whether cosine theta or sine theta are equal to 0, unlike this, or 1 and minus 1, what help you will be the unit circle. So you can draw a simple unit circle that will be reminding you. So we know always that this point is 1 and 0. This point is 0 and 1. This point is 0 and minus 1. This point is minus 1 and 0. So we already talked from the first question in this exam that the x-coordinate will be representing the cosine. That means here is my 0, here is my pi over 2, which is 90, here is my pi, and here is my 3 pi over 2, which is 270. Since your question in radians. So that means when your theta will be having a 0 for the cosine in pi over 2, this is my theta 1 and my theta 2 on a 3 pi over 2, which is 90 and 270. This is 90 degree and this is 270 degree. طيب, let's have a look now to the other part. 2 sine theta minus 1. That means I need to keep sine theta alone. Sine theta is equal 1 over 2. In which quadrant I'm having sine is positive? Yalla, remember, all students take chocolate. All students take chocolate. Which quadrant I'm having sine is positive? Yes, ladies. First and second quadrant. So that means let's have the theta of the first quadrant, which will be sine inverse of whatever you are having, 1 over 2. It will be 30 degree in your calculator, but you need to change it to radian. So you need to multiply by pi over 180, which will be giving you pi over 6. Now, let's have a look at the other part. I'm having my theta in the second quadrant. So I know that to find a reference angle in the second quadrant, it is pi minus the given theta, which is pi minus pi over 6, which will be giving you 5 pi over 6. So this is theta 2 and theta 3. So our answer will be including pi over 2, pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, and 3 pi over 2, and this is your answer. C. Now the last question in the exam. The LCM, which is the least common multiplier, which is as the LCD, least common denominator. The thing that you need to do is factor each of them. 3x y to the power 4. So 3 is 3 by 1. X mentioned one time, y mentioned 4 times. 4x squared y cubed. So the 4 will be factored into 2 multiplied by 2. The x will be factored into x multiplied by x. The y will be factored into y multiplied by y multiplied by y. So to find the LCM, it is not like the GCF. Pay attention. The GCF, you will take only the common, but the LCM, you will take everything. And the repeated values, you will take the maximum of them. So we will take 3, 2 by 2, 3, 2 by 2. And now, pay attention. I'm having the x here 1 time, here 2 times. That means I will take the maximum. I will take the 2. Then, lastly, you are having the y 4 times here, here 3 times. That means I will take the 4 times. So if I would like to simplify this, I will be having 12x squared y to the power 4. And this will be your answer, and this is the final question. That's it. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can just contact me and text me.